I am Riley.
My name's Cal, and we talk about anything you talk about on the couch with your best bro. Played all these maps, and many in the community would agree that this map is generally overall hated.
He's going at it vigorously.
So no evidence then, poor deluded twat.
I am an extremely passionate aviation enthusiast in my free time.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 29 of the Couch Co-op podcast. We are in for another wonderful episode. We're a bit later than usual in our recording time, but I think we'll be fine. How you doing today, Cal?
I'm good. It's funny. I said this earlier, but daylight saving time is weird because this was the time I was used to, but it's really not because daylight saving time is effed up. But yeah, I'm good. Car trouble all weekend. Nothing worse than that. Luckily, it wasn't too bad, but yeah. Lots of, I always feel bad when we don't have anything good to talk about, and I don't think we have anything good to talk about this week. I feel like there's a lot of dumb.
Don't say that. Don't say. Come back, viewers. Come back. Don't go away.
Yeah. No. I mean, everybody loves drama. I'm just saying, I wish there was good news for once. Like, it's all bad news. But yeah, what you got for us? What are you most excited to talk about?
Okay. So why don't we go through the Pokemon thing first?
I thought, yeah.
Basically, what happened? I don't think we've talked about her much actually, which is kind of a surprise. But so
Considering, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
So what happened over this past week? First and foremost, right? Pokemon is one of the largest female streamers on the internet, and she had recently revealed that she is making her own cookies. Her own cookies, right? And people started to point out similarities between her brand of cookies and another brand. Honestly, I don't know too much on the matter, but I do know that people are calling her out because she has basically been found copying another company.
So what I saw with the story, I don't know if this is confirmed, but I did see this. Her cookies are very similar to a cookie. You can get a box of cookies you can get at Costco for $10. But she essentially, what people are accusing her of is repackaging and then selling the same cookies for $28. So basically three timesing uppricing people. I don't know how to say that the right way, but charging people 3 times as much as you could get the same cookies from Costco. I don't know if that's true, but either way, it's not a great look for her. There's this hilarious clip. I should have sent it to you. Let me see if I can find it.
Okay.
You've probably seen it, but it's a clip of her talking about her morals and why should I try to make more money when I have my morals and I have ethics and all this stuff. And people are like obviously pointing out that it's such a hilarious discrepancy from what she's doing now because it's obviously just a cash grab. Like I don't have any problem with people making money, get that bag. I don't have any problem with that. Capitalism, whatever. I don't care. But when you get on your high horse when other people try to do it, like there was the hilarious clip from a few years ago that I saw another screenshot of her commenting on the girl that was like, if you don't have $5, what are you doing in my chat? Like, you don't have $5, that clip. And yeah, so I do have a problem with people riding the high horse, trashing other people. And then when all the other people are beat down into the ground, then they're like, but buy my cookies because they're better. And they're 28 and they're Pokemon cookies. It's basically, it's a cash grab from the Simpsons is what I like to call them. But yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, This kind of reminds me of the beginning of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, if you heard that. I mean, if you've seen that, where...
I haven't seen it yet, but go ahead.
Okay, well, it's not too spoilery. So what happens is
Yeah.
that it's like going through Miles Morales kind of backstory, like, and I'm the one and only Spider-Man, and I've done this and that, and they got a sponsorship with baby power, with like baby powder or something, and don't do that, and that's what this kind of reminds me of, like just doing things for the sake of like publicity or money or whatever, right? I mean, I like what connection does a internet live streamer have to making food? None. She's not. It's not like she's like a cooking live streamer or someone that like bakes for a living or something. No, she plays video games and uh, turns around for the camera for a living. So, um, yeah. I mean, obviously to me, it's a cash grab. That's all it is. No, I'm not buying it.
Well, again, like I said, I don't have a problem with people getting that bad. You know, if you've got a brand and people are willing to pay for it, that's awesome. But I do have a problem with people like Pokimane that have their supposed morals and all this stuff, and then you're charging $28 for a box cookie. Come on, like come on,
You know what that reminds
like
me of? Pokimane, I think it was last year at the Streamer Awards. She was getting flack because she was also playing this morality card, but then people pointed out that the the award show that she was hosting was sponsored by I think it was Fansly, an X-rated video site, and most of her, in fact, most of I would say like those live streamers and kind of this like higher tier group, iShowSpeed, any of these guys are like kids or adolescents, young adults, and they're promoting that stuff. So yeah,
yeah, I don't buy it from any of them. I do think there are streamers that have better ethics. I will say, like, I would say Asmongold. I feel like for the most part is probably one of the more like he does. I mean, he's there to make money, but I don't feel like he's there to kill people. I saw a clip of him the other day, and he was talking about people that have made clip channels of him on TikTok, and they probably make thousands of dollars. And people were asking him in his live stream, like, "Well, aren't you like upset at that?" He's like, "No, if you can make money off of me and I can make money off of me, fine, whatever. And I feel like that's the mentality these really rich, overpaid, overpaid. I mean, they deserve it if they work for it, but these really ultra rich people like Pokimane charging $28 for a box of cookies. I mean, come on, dude.
yeah.
Like I don't know, dude. Like, ugh.
Even
Yeah.
without the
Um,
Pokemon name, I wouldn't buy $28 worth of cookies.
right. Like there's no added value there because it's just like if you're paying for a PC built by Asmongold's company, you're still getting a really good PC. But if you're buying cookies from Pokemon's company, which just allegedly reboxes cookies and sells them under her brand, you're not gaining anything. It's just a cash grab, and that's all. Yeah,
Yeah.
disappointing. Oh man, so disappointed in her. I had such high hopes for Pokimane. Yeah, I feel like stuff like this, I mean, it's not, I don't think it's intentionally designed to blow up in their face, but I feel like every once in a while, these streamers almost, it sounds conspiratorial, but I feel like they have something like this planned to get their name out there some again, because I haven't heard anything about her for months,
Right.
years even. Like, I feel like I know she still has probably 5 to 10,000 viewers daily. I don't know how many it is, raking in the cash, but I feel like some of these stories are drummed up to give them more attention personally.
Yeah, well, I mean, some of these accounts on Twitter, like, um, but just like random news accounts. I can't think of the name, but there's one that Daily Loud. That's the one who has been exposed for posting like videos of like two women doing whatever, right, just to get clicks, and then in the reply, Daily Loud will be like, follow this hot girl for her OnlyFans, and then it will be added the people in the video above, and then people were like, wait, so these are just like. So then it was found out that people, or rather, OnlyFans girls are paying these accounts to post videos like that to get them into their website. That's kind of what that reminds
Wow.
me of. But yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you have anything more to say about it, but I think that the Pokimane class, they're already streaming on easy mode. You wear some short shorts or a skirt or like a low cut shirt, and you will just get the viewers pouring in. And so they're already on easy mode, and something like this just seems like they have cheat codes enabled and they are just exploiting the game as much as they can. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I've said on here before, I'm not a huge fan. Never really have been a fan of her. I'm not really a fan of many of them though. So,
Me neither.
but yeah. In other fun gaming news, we don't have to spend a lot of time on it, but I'm seeing a lot of people that are really liking this new Call of Duty Zombies mode, and I'm seeing lots of stuff on Twitter that just, the garbage zombie apologists are just out in droves. They are just hyping this game up to no end. Have you seen any of that?
Oh yeah.
What are your thoughts?
So yeah, well, like for example, right, my cousin, he texted me like, "Oh yeah, well, I mean, yeah, it's actually pretty fun, you know. Me and the homies play it quite a bit." I'm like, "Yeah, all right, cool." But like most people that I've seen are actually starting to warm up to it now. Um, it's it's expected, I guess, because the community is like all over the place in terms of what it likes and doesn't like. Like God, like it hated Infinite Warfare when it came out. Now it's like one of the most beloved games ever. Um, but the game to me still does not look like something that I would want to play over and over again just because of I've really laid out all my issues with it, right? But from people who have like played it, they say that it's fun and replayable, and the camo system is cool and whatnot, and um, the structure, like the Act 1, 2, and 3, I don't know, I guess Easter eggs, but I guess they're not. Whatever it is, it's not an Easter egg, it's just something else, and that's actually pretty cool from what I've heard. And then some other people are still saying the same old stuff, like, yeah, it's just all garbage, and I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've seen too. I wanted to bring it up because we have trashed the game thoroughly on here, and so I mean, I'll be the first to say it. I hope we are wrong about our opinions about a lot of stuff. I hope these are good games that people can enjoy. I was trying to find it again. There was basically this guy, and I will call him an apologist, but until my opinion has changed on the game. But he was just saying like people are saying that this game is overpriced for $70, but if you think about it, before you paid for the full game, so 60, so you say like Black Ops 3, $60 for the game, and then you would pay $15 for each DLC, which I has a point. I guess it's true. Like $70 compared to $100, there is a point there to be made. But quality, you look at quality of what you were getting then to what you're getting now. I would gladly pay 100. I would pay $200 for a game like Black Ops 3. I would pay a lot of money for that, but we're not going to see that. I see people are calling for fishing to be in the game, like fishing.
Yeah,
I don't know why fishing is such a. Was it in
Outbreak.
what was the other one? Outbreak. Was it in Outbreak?
Yep. I never used it though. I don't know why
Yeah.
it's
I
a meme or something. I don't know.
there's this one account. I won't trash him publicly, but that's all I see is like Outbreak needs fishing, or not Outbreak, MWZ. And I didn't even remember it. Like I feel like fishing in games, I guess some people enjoy it, but it's one of the most unmemorable and like boring aspects of each game. Like I feel like every game that has fishing in it, I never actually do the fishing, and that's just personal. But I don't know. I hope we're wrong. I just wanted to bring it up because it seems like a lot of people are having fun with it. And if there is anyone out there listening, let us know what you think of it, because I will say that the big zombies YouTubers have made more videos on MWZ than they did like the last 3 zombies modes combined. So I think that says something, but
Yeah.
I don't know. So anyways.
Yeah, maybe I'll give it a shot if the game like goes on sale or something. Um, yeah.
I feel like, and real quick before we change the subject, I feel like you can tell it's an obvious cash grab. I mean, obviously it's cash grab directed at zombies people because DMZ was free, but MWZ is not free. And that to me says like they know the zombies people will show up. Well, then give the zombies people a decent mode to play. Like it's so like for instance, I'm gonna go off on a tangent here, but Vanguard, like Vanguard Zombies was supposed to be this, oh my gosh, it's gonna be so cool, and you're gonna go back to like the Elder Gods and all this cool stuff and blah blah blah, you know. And it was just like hot garbage. And I feel like you can't blame two people who've played all the zombies basically for hating on the new mode because we've been screwed over so many times. I've
Right.
also seen there's rumors that Gobblegums are coming back, and they aren't totally this time. They aren't going to totally be a cash grab. They're going to be like part of the game and the mechanics and yeah,
Right.
right. Anyways, yeah. Anyways,
So, Marvel's biggest hit just swept the box office as they always do. Aren't I right?
I mean, it was bigger than in-game from what I hear.
Right.
Bigger and better, faster and stronger.
Together.
Yeah, obvious jibe there at the Marvels movie not doing well in the box offices. Do you know the actual numbers? I haven't even seen.
I know that it had a 79% drop from the first weekend to the second weekend of it being out in terms of how much money it's making, and I guess that was lower than Morbius and the Flash. So yeah, it's not doing too great.
Yeah, I've got a chart here. So Endgame. Let's see, is that? Oh, okay. So Endgame opening weekend, and it's not really fair to compare it to Endgame, but 357 million on opening weekend. Spider-Man No Way Home 260, Black Panther 202, Infinity War 257. Let's see here. Where are the Marvels? I can't actually find them on the chart. Sorry, I'm trying to find it.
That's alright. Another thing about these Marvel movies that completely boggles my mind is that their budget is astronomical compared to the quality of the movie. For example, the Marvel's budget is $220 million, and some of the shots are just like, man, it's yet again we're gonna bring up Sensei Seagal. It's like Steven Seagal movies. Ain't no way all of that money is going into the movie. It has to be a scheme, like a money laundering scheme or something, dude. Because it is not going into those movies. That's for sure.
So yeah, it looks like it's the lowest according to this chart. It's the lowest grossing MCU movie ever with 161 million on its global gross. Which, like you're saying, the budget for it was probably 250 million, 300 million. I don't know how many. I don't know how many million it actually is, but you know, it hasn't made anything yet. Is what it looks like. Like it's been negative quite a bit. Yeah, even Black Widow did at least double that. How much money is? Oh, I don't want Marvel. I want the Marvels. Yeah, I just feel like uh, the MCU is so out of touch with what made the MCU great. Like they've gone off on these side projects, and I think their side projects were good to start with. Like we've talked about here before, you know, the main thing the MCU did right was they probably spent 1,000 man hours planning, more than that. I know it's like 3, 4, 5,000 man hours planning, making sure the story would make sense and all these different bits and bobs and pieces and and everything. And that's what the thing that was great about the MCU is you knew the next movie was going to add to the story, and so you had to they had so many people invested in it.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like these new the new MCU projects, there's nothing, like there's literally nothing to be invested in. Like the Eternals, there was like there was a celestial that was attacking the world, and they stopped him, and now he's just like sitting out in the ocean and nobody, like, nothing, like there's nothing said about it. And it kills me, dude, because if it was today, like a real world, and I think that was like what made the MCU great, was like you could put yourself in that world, like, wow, that's crazy, thinking about all these things. But like it just takes you out of the universe so much, because you're like, nobody's talking about this. Like there's this giant celestial god, and they just, okay, let's move on to the next one. Let's bring in Doctor Doom to clean everything up.
I feel like another thing is too is that, so there's two things. There's a few things. One, I do think that superhero fatigue is kind of setting in, unless it's like a really good movie, right? I mean, I think we're kind of in a weird stage where DC is putting like slightly better movies than what Marvel is doing, like with Joker and the Batman, and yeah, and
But I mean, even like the Blue Beetle, I heard was pretty good. But I haven't heard that about the Marvels. Like I haven't heard the Marvels was like, no, it's pretty good. It was a pretty good movie.
yeah, well,
Sorry
like
to interrupt, but
what I've heard about the Marvels is jack and shit, and that speaks volumes because let's see, what is Loki? That's a good example. Have you seen Loki season 2?
not yet.
Okay.
I've been catching up on some. I finally finished Better Call Saul. I've been watching that for months, and I finally finished it.
Nice. So
Great show, by the way. Have you seen it?
No.
I mean, I'm getting us sidetracked here, but oh, dude, it's yeah. But yeah,
so
sorry. I haven't seen it yet.
gotcha. So yeah, Loki I think is probably the best Marvel project since Endgame, like seasons 1 and 2. I think they're both, like, season 2, man. Oh my god. Like in my opinion, the best character development of any character in the MCU. It's phenomenal. But there's this weird thing that people have noticed, right? It's kind of this like flip flop thing, and it's kind of with Call of Duty too. It's like the same cycle over. We hate the current project. We hate Secret Invasion. Loki comes out. We love Marvel. The Marvels comes out. We hate Marvel. Deadpool comes out next year. We love Marvel. So I think that's another thing too. Is like they're so inconsistent, and this whole multiverse thing is something that, from my eyes, seems to go over a lot of heads in the general audience. Like, I mean, like my mom, for example, she's not a big fan of it because she just doesn't understand it really. So it's like I have to explain it to her every time, and then every time we watch like another superhero movie with the multiverse, which is another thing that I seriously hate, is that now damn near every like superhero movie has something to do with the multiverse, and I'm sick of it. And the Marvels is actually not exempt from that. You might think, okay, we've had so many multiverse stories, now let's go into the Marvels. Well, let's just have a fun movie. Nope, you go to the post-credit scene, now the X-Men are brought into it from the Fox universe, and now she's been transported into... It doesn't matter, it's so stupid, and then when something like Across the Spider-Verse, or even Into the Spider-Verse does it well, or Loki, it just kind of doesn't get seen, right? Like, for example, like Loki had the Andor effect. Like, not many people watched Andor because Obi-Wan Kenobi sucked and the previous movies sucked. So nobody watched Andor, but it's the best piece of Star Wars media to me ever. And when Loki comes out, and like sure they got some viewers, but not as many as the first season or even their other shows. But because their projects have been lackluster, their views have been lackluster, and people aren't as invested into Loki. What but they should be, because I believe it is like the Andor of Marvel. It's a really neat personal story that is not told anywhere else, and yeah, I just think that they just need to wrap it up quickly. This whole multiverse thing, because people are not really sitting right with it, and me personally too. I'm getting quite sick of that. The story of the multiverse too. Like my head is hurting just saying multiverse over and over again. So
Yeah, I feel like you mentioned superhero fatigue. I feel like people have multiverse fatigue too, and because you're right, it's in everything. Call of Duty Zombies is a good example. In my opinion, they did it right in a lot of ways. Like, I feel like you have to contain the story. The problem with the multiverse, like you're saying, for normal people that just want to go enjoy a superhero flick, they can't enjoy it if they're having to think about all these different things, and like, it's too much for people. Yeah.
just to add on to that, in case you don't get to it. Also, another thing, right? Like for example, The Flash. Someone might think that like, oh, do I have to go watch all the Michael Keaton Batman movies now, or like Secret Wars when that comes out? Because there are a bunch of rumors that, oh yeah, all the Fox characters and Spider Man, So wait, do I have to go watch these like 20 different movies now outside of the MCU to understand this movie? Is that what's going on? Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where I feel like they lose a lot of people. If you're gonna do a multiverse, it has to be confined to a very, narrow story. Because most of the time, what we see with multiverse in media or pop culture is it's a loophole that can be exploited to explain any and every bit of story that doesn't make sense. There's talk of Star Wars, and it looks like from what I've seen, Star Wars is being set up to be a multiverse story so they can explain away episodes 7, 8, and 9 like they never happened. And it just like and it goes deep into the deep into the lore. Like I don't know if you watch Star Wars Theory. It goes deep into like Star Wars lore, like the deep stuff that many people don't touch. And that's the problem with my point is that's the problem with multiverse stuff is 97% of the people that enjoy your movie or your show or game or whatever never get that deep into the lore, so it doesn't make sense to them. And I just feel like yeah, like you said, they need to wrap it up. If you're going to do a multiverse, it has to be, and they use it to set stuff up. It already has to be set up. Like it has to be, ready for the multiverse story plot. And I feel like Marvel wasn't ready for that. And we can already see them setting it up to bring Iron Man back, to bring Captain or whoever back. I don't remember. Black Widow back, so yeah, I just the the to me the MCU has just done so many things wrong in the last 10 years that it completely negates everything that they said. I mean, you can still enjoy the first movies, up through phase 3, but like they nerfed the hell out of Thor like in the last couple of movies, in Endgame, and then especially the last Love and Thunder, he just is like a joke. They make these people that you grow up with and that you idolize a joke, and they're just the butt of the joke, and that's what Thor is. He's an idiot. And I mean, that was kind of always his character, but not to the extent they made it. Yeah, I don't know. I I could talk way too much about it. Same with like Obi-Wan Kenobi. They made the show. They made Obi-Wan just this weak, sniveling old man hiding out in the desert when his purpose to be there was always to look over Luke. It wasn't to feel sorry for himself. It was to look over Luke and make sure that Luke, could eventually learn the ways of the Jedi. But anyways.
I feel like another thing was kind of like undermining the characters, or in my opinion, in Marvel's case, undermining the entire MCU, where it's revealed that, oh, there's this guy at the end of time who has written the story of everything that has happened prior to Loki, and then it's just kind of like, I don't know. I'm still kind of mixed on that decision personally, because it at that point it's like it's like Samantha at the end of Origins when like, wait, are we just dolls this whole time? I kind of had that feeling with like He Who Remains at the end of Loki, because I'm just like, okay, so it just kind of breaks the immersion for me a bit, because then the events of, say, like Avengers Endgame don't really feel as impactful, because then you're like, okay, well, he dies, yes, but this doesn't really matter though, because like there's this guy that you can just, I don't know. I think they kind of shot themselves in the foot.
The smartest thing you can do, like I've said, I'm repeating myself here again. The best thing, the only thing you can really do to make a multiverse or time travel esque story work is to confine it and end it, and not to continue. And that's the problem, in my opinion, the MCU has made. Jason Blundell, who, if you guys aren't big zombies people, you won't know the name, but I remember him doing an interview, and he talked about Black Ops 3, and Black Ops 3 was always intended to put parentheses on the story. So like the zombie story couldn't go out of those parentheses. So the beautiful part of the zombies timeline and everything is that, spoiler alert if you haven't done it, done the Easter eggs and stuff, is that it can never go out of this cycle. But then that's what, like, Black Ops 4 came along and the cycle was broken and all this stuff, and it just, when you do that, you undermine everything that the groundwork that you laid. And it's like you said with, Endgame. Iron Man's sacrifice was pointless because there's what's the guy's name?
He Who Remains, or Kang.
He Who Remains at the very end, that was gonna just make sure that the world didn't end anyways, or whatever his goal is. It just, yeah. Anyways,
Yeah.
I can rant about it for a long time, but
So
I don't know. What were you gonna say?
yeah, I pretty much said what I wanted to on that. What is the most effed up story you have ever heard?
Give me keep. Do you have one? Because I'm not sure. I have one off the top of my head. I've
Um,
been trying to think.
yeah, kinda. So yeah, I guess it is, cause yeah. So in ninth, was it, yeah, ninth grade, there was this. I don't remember, like, what class was this? It was something like completely like, just like a filler class, so that this old lady could just do whatever she wanted. It was uh, I really don't know. It's just health, I guess, is what you could call it. I don't remember what we did in there besides this one thing. And okay, mind you, this question doesn't have to be like a story that you experienced. It could be a story you heard from someone else or wherever, right? But for me personally, it's kind of my story. Um, so yeah, we're in this class that I don't know what we're in there for, and one day she's like, "All right, well, my son is gonna come in, and he's gonna talk to you guys." And someone raises their hand, like, "Why?" Well, okay. And then she's like, "Oh, well, he has a lot of bad luck, so I want to show you guys what that looks like," or something like that. And I always kind of felt bad for the guy, because like the next day or whatever, when he comes in, he's blind in one eye. He can barely move one of his arms. Um he's balding. That's a bad one. Um and then he would just stand there at the whole class and tell stories about how messed up his life is, and how, and there wasn't like a resolution, like, okay, and you guys have to be better than that. You have to roll with the punches. Not. It was just like a pity party, man. It was like a Wings of Redemption live stream. He was just sitting there complaining about his life, while his mom, well, the teacher, was just letting it all happen. And I always thought that was kind of messed up because there wasn't like a point to any of it. um, but yeah, that was the first thing that came to mind. I didn't have a lot of time to actually come up with an answer. Uh, yeah.
So she just so to clarify the story, she brings her son in as like a guest speaker,
Yeah.
and she's just like, "There you go, honey. Just talk about how terrible your life is to all these kids."
Pretty much. Yeah.
It's pretty messed up. Yeah, I was trying to think. I can't honestly think of many like off the top of my head. Um, so I'm either repressing them or I just don't remember them because you would think that I would have more, but this one also at school, and there was this really nice, just the sweetest lady. You know, the teachers that like were too good to teach school, but they really just like they went into teaching because they actually wanted to make a difference, and you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And like to some people they did, and then but there's this type of student that picks out that in a teacher and they just attack them and they want them to quit for whatever reason. The only person in the room or the school sometimes that actually cares about their future is this teacher, but these students just eat them alive. And so I remember this and she was really good, religious, upstanding lady. And I just remember I wasn't there, but I heard the story of this class, and they just started going in on her, and they just were dropping the F bomb in class, and they were like screaming it at her. And I don't remember a lot of it because it was a long time ago, but you know, it was just like this volley of F words being hurled at this teacher, and she didn't want to hear it, and she ended up quitting over it. Like she was ready to be done anyways. I think she was ready to retire, but it's pretty messed up. I mean, there's some teachers I feel like have it coming, like they can dish it out, you know, maybe students give it back to them, but you know, it's pretty messed up for them to. And she was an older lady and she's really sweet, and yeah, so that's mine. Kind of messed up.
Did I ever tell a story of the teacher who threw a stool at a kid who was sleeping in class?
No.
Okay. Okay.
How'd you not
Um,
lead with that one?
yeah, that just came to mind. So, let's see. So, on the yeah, so around like the final days of middle school, so how the bus would work, right, on the school bus in the mornings, they would they would pick all the kids up, drop off the high schoolers at the high school, then drive us middle school kids to the middle school, and they kind of do the opposite thing, right, and on the way home. So I was yeah, it was like one of the last days of middle school, and this high schooler up at the front, he's like yelling at me, I think, and he's like, "Hey guys, beware of Miss Science teacher, right? Because she likes to throw chairs at people." so so I feel sorry for you in advance, and people were like, "What are you talking about?" And and then he tells a story about how supposedly this kid had a like a stool or a chair thrown at them because they weren't like doing well in class. And well, next year I had this person as my teacher, and come to find out that would very much so be the case. So what happened, this one kid, actually the brother of the ball scratcher kid, if you remember that story also, would he was always nodding off in class, always sleeping. So he fell asleep one day, and while like she's like giving a lecture or something, so she kind of just goes silent, and she's just staring at the kid with his head down like that, sleeping, and she like yells, "Hey!" He doesn't wake up. She grabs a stool, and wait, oh no, oh no, she didn't. I don't think she threw anything at him, actually. I I don't think so. I don't think she threw anything at him actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think I mixed two stories together. Um, yeah. So there was a rumor that she threw a stool at someone, and then she like yelled at the kid, and then like threw his head up and took him out into the hallway and yelled at him for a bit. I'm pretty sure that's it. I no, I don't. I don't think she actually threw a stool at anyone. Come to think of it, my bad. I completely confused that one.
Oh, no, you're good. You should have lied and said it was, but yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, as you were talking, I remembered one more. I remembered one more messed up story, and it's another experience at school. So the teacher that came in and replaced the older lady that quit, I remember sitting in a class, and I don't remember how he got on the topic. I don't remember any of it. Again, nice guy, like great guy actually. Like I actually got to be pretty close with him. But I remember he just started talking about his marriage, and he just was talking about, oh, marriage is great, and like you're committed to this other person, and like all this stuff. And then it got weird, dude. He started talking about, he's like, yeah, just sometimes, like I'll just sit here in class and I just start thinking about my wife, and like I just can't stop thinking about her. He's like, and I'm just like, oh man, I'm just so excited to get home and just like I remember exactly what he said, but like just go get my wife, you know, and just like I'm like an animal, like I'm just like so excited, you know. And I just remember thinking, like scratching my head, like, dude, this is getting weird. Like you're in a room full of teenagers, and I was maybe like 15 at this time, you know, a bunch of like 15-ish kids, and you were just talking about it was funny and ironic because most teachers would stay far away from like their sex life, and like they would want kids to not even be thinking about sex, but he's like just going in on like, oh my gosh, like my wife, she's so beautiful, and like I just oh my gosh, and I sometimes I can't contain myself, like I just want to quit class early so I can get home to my wife, you know. And we're just like, yay, dude.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
is
not
weird.
maybe not really the most like effed up story, but it was funny, and it made me you were saying made me think of it. But yeah, um, interesting for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Kind of effed up though to tell a bunch of kids that, but yeah, it's all. I'm seeing some hubbub about the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League game not being received very well. What do you know about it?
Yeah. So, the game comes out next year, but there's been some. Actually, ever since it's been announced, it has been shat on by everyone pretty much. Cause, so the studio that makes the Suicide Squad, Rocksteady, is I believe most known for making the Arkham games, the Batman Arkham games, and those are as as far as I know, like very well received. And they're single player, and they're I've only played Arkham Asylum, but as far as I know, I'm pretty sure they're all open world, most of them. Um, and well, so what does Rocksteady do? Well, they want to make a Superman game because that would be awesome. So they they spend a good while building a prototype, and they present it to Warner Brothers, and then that gets shot down. They are now forced to make Suicide Squad kill the Justice League instead. So with no time to make a world for this new Suicide Squad game, they have to use their assets and whatnot from the Superman game. So, um,
Sounding great already.
yeah. So when you like take a look at the gameplay, right, you can play as Harley Quinn, King Shark, Deadshot. Is that his name? I think so.
Yep. Yep.
And
Captain Boomerang.
right. How could I possibly forget about Captain Boomerang? So, yeah, it's when you look at the gameplay, they all look the same. they so right. You would expect to be playing as Captain Boomerang that you would be using a boomerang. There's like in an ultimate ability I think where you can actually use a boomerang, but for most of the time, all of the characters are using like the same arsenal: an assault rifle, a shotgun, a grenade launcher, a sniper, whatever. It doesn't matter because it's all the same. And the movement, Harley Quinn literally swings around the city like Spider-Man. Come on. And then um, the Deadshot gets a jetpack, and then Boomerang gets this like wrist thing to make him run like the Flash. And okay, there's another thing too. This game is not single player. It can be played as solo, but the majority of it is meant to be played as a live service looter shooter. And that is what has tickled people the most, because every time one of these new looter shooters comes out, there's always problems with it. And when people hear the word live service, like, all right, the game will not be finished. It's going to be buggy and just destroyed on launch, but they're going to fix it up later. And then we've been down that road before, so we're just going to hate on it, and that's what that is what people are saying. And this Luke Stevens on YouTube actually was going through the website for the Suicide Squad game, and at the very bottom of the pre-order page where you can choose your edition and get all of your cool cosmetics, there is, in tiny fine print at the very bottom, it says Warner Brother Games may modify or discontinue online services with reasonable notice at any time. And it's just, I feel like this game has nothing going for it. Like, from what I've seen, the gameplay, like I just said, it doesn't look interesting. All the characters play the same. Their abilities are just dumb, and the world looks like a Superman game. Brainiac, the Superman villain, is the centerpiece of the whole world. He's a big like statue skull thing right there. It hurts me to like, we could have gotten a Superman game, and instead we're getting this. What are your thoughts on it?
So yeah, not knowing a lot of that, just knowing people weren't like super. I mean, I'm a DC fan, and I wasn't excited for it. So I wasn't aware of the publisher being Rocksteady. That actually hurts me, because I haven't played the Arkham games, but I know they're critically acclaimed games. You know, they're all like 9 out of 10s. You know, it hurts, but I don't know why, for whatever reason, these superhero games always get, not always, because there's some good ones, but they always just get the shaft. Like, they're like, all right, I know what we can do. We can just tug on the heartstrings on the nostalgia um button of push the nostalgia button in our gamers, and we're just gonna let them play, you know, around Metropolis City as the Justice League, and they're gonna try to kill, or as Suicide Squad, they're gonna try to kill the Justice League. And on paper, I mean, I guess it sounds cool, but you know, like you said, we have to lament the fact that we aren't getting a full single player Superman game. You know, how is it the year of our Lord 2023 and we don't have like a good Superman game? We have Spider-Man games that are good, Batman games that are good, but not a Superman game. My guess is part of it is, I feel like as the studio, Warner Brothers, would be like, well, you know, Superman's hard because he's just so overpowered, and like, I feel like people will get bored, and which is true. I mean, that's the problem with Superman, is he's too overpowered for everything that he's involved in. But to go from like, look, we've got a really good functioning demo of a Superman game, and they're like, you know what? Scratch that. You know what we're gonna do? You know what's popular? You know what's really popping off right now is the Suicide Squad. Have you seen our movies? We've made 2 of them, and they're both just top of the box office. They're both like just beloved by the fans. So we want you to make a game on that, but we're not going to give you any more resources. You have to use the world you've already created. and they're like, wait a minute, most of these like Harley Quinn is from um Batman. I'm spacing on names, but oh, it's fine. They're all in Metropolis. Like, it's fine. It's fine. Just like put them in what you've already created. That to me, you deserve to lose millions and millions of dollars if that is the way you treat your fandom, your fans, and your intellectual property. Like, you are so stupid. Again, like you said it, when I feel like we're all talking about fatigue tonight, we're all live service game fatigued out. There's examples and examples and examples of games that just aren't supported anymore because the live service has been pulled. And like you said, at the very bottom of their page, the three people that really enjoy this looter shooter and they're going to be like trying to get all 100% it are going to be really disappointed when the servers are just pulled for the game because the game is doing terrible and the servers are expensive to upkeep and yeah, pay developers and all that stuff. So I just feel like, Warner Brothers really screwed Rocksteady over because there's nothing that will kill a game developer more than making just a crappy game after making good games. Oh, I don't know. There's also the Gotham Knights game that was like okay-ish, I guess. It's got a 6 out of 10. But yeah, I don't know. I not knowing a lot of that before, I haven't really had a lot of time to think about it, but I just think, why not make something great? Why settle with something average? Like, that's the most average thing I can think of is the Suicide Squad kill the Justice League. But like you said, you can't use Captain Boomerang's boomerang. You're not using Harley Quinn's hammer. You're not using Deadshot's precision sniper rifle or whatever it is. You're just using the same guns, and it's a looter shooter like Destiny 2.
Yeah, it it totally looks like a game that they were forced to make that they did not want to make, to me. And so some other marketing that was done. Rocksteady is mostly known for, like I said, their single player story driven games. So what do? They release a trailer based purely on the story. And they're going to try to make you forget all of the other bad things that we just went over. And people are not falling for it this time. Good on you guys. So, yeah. I feel like we could get so much better games. Like Spider-Man 2, I got that like a week ago, and it's awesome. Now, I've heard some people not like it because it's kind of similar to Spider-Man 1 and Miles Morales, but I haven't played those two, so it's completely fresh to me. But so in that sense, it's a great game. But yeah, this game just looks like it looks like the McDonald's of looter shooters. It has everything that like the basic audiences will like gawk over, right? Like, oh, Harley Quinn is in this game? Mom, get me the game. Just like stuff like that. I just think that it's not built to last, even though these live service games are called that so that they can be played for years and years and people can keep buying more stuff from them. But I I see this game is going to tread the same road as Anthem. It's gonna get Warner Brothers will discontinue this game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. Live service is just such a dirty word now for gamers. And as a developer, um I would just run from the idea of a live service game as far and as fast as you can. There's nothing wrong with having a multiplayer aspect to a game, but a live service game just whew, yeah. I feel like, and I feel like it will take these games shutting down, these studios just failing for us to finally get away from it. But did you have something to say?
No.
Yeah. So too bad. That's just Rocksteady. I mean, they're known. I haven't played their games, and I know what they're known for. So that's tragic. But
Right.
you do, I guess. It just Call of Duty. It just reminds me of Call of Duty.
Hmm.
Call of Duty has some amazing developers that work for them, Activision, whatever you want to call it, but they confine them to making these garbage, life cycle games of it's a life cycle of a year basically.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So I don't know. You know what I saw that was hilarious though was I saw that Black Ops Cold War is on sale for I think $20,
Hmm.
and I think it was Black Ops 1 was on sale for like $25 or something like that. I could be wrong, but it just made me laugh because it's like, yeah, it's still a better game. It's still
Right.
worth more money, and it's like over 10 years old. But
Yeah.
anyways,
Well, I have one last topic for this episode. Um, Religion. You can go wherever you want with this. What are your thoughts on religion? What religion do you practice, if any?
so I do practice. I my whole life I've been a member of the Church Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Mormons is what most people know us as.
Hmm.
Um, I don't really know where to go with it. I obviously believe, or I wouldn't still practice. I think religion. I mean, philosophically speaking, religion has been a net positive and a net negative. You go back to like the Crusades, and a lot of people died during the Crusades as they were trying to take back the Holy Land and all this stuff. Modern religion, I feel like it's just like anything. Um, Everyone thinks theirs is the best, theirs is correct, theirs is right. Um, I would say that the LDS or the Mormon culture isn't
Exempt.
um, exempt. That's the word I was thinking, extinct, but that's the wrong word. Not exempt from that. If you look at like the basis of the religion itself, I don't know. Do you know much about LDS
No.
Mormons culture or anything?
Not at all, honestly. No.
So a real quick, like, just recap for everyone. Um, you've probably heard the name Joseph Smith, Book of Mormon. You've probably heard these words. Basically, there was a man, Joseph Smith, who went to find the right religion for him, and he was visited by, Jesus Christ, and he was told not to join any of the religions because they were all wrong, and that they had all been a corrupted version of the Lord's or Jesus of Christ church he established while he was on the earth, biblical times. And he was given a manuscript that eventually was translated by him that tells the story of people that were here on the American continent called the Nephites and the Lamanites. And it's well, not supposed, it is, if you believe it, it's another testament of Jesus Christ. It's the people here, 600 years before the time of Christ. The people come over to the Americas. They leave Jerusalem before Jerusalem is destroyed. That's like a brief, very brief history of it. But from that, a lot of people, LDS people, they do believe in Jesus Christ. It's in the name of the church. Mormons is actually kind of a derogatory term. We kind of try to stay away from that. But yeah, I do believe, and that's what I practice. What about you?
Gotcha. Well, just some like backstory on me personally. I, maybe the first like 5 or 6 years of my life, my parents took me to church with them, and I didn't. I was young back then, right? I just kind of sat there and thought about dinosaurs or whatever. Um, but I mean, there was this one incident. Again, I'm not sure if I told it on here. Maybe I just mentioned it in passing. But the first, I think it was the first church that we went to. They had a locked. The adults were like down on the first floor in the pews listening to the preacher. They would take the kids upstairs and into the playroom. Well, they locked us all up there. They locked the door on us and they left us up there. So my parents got mad at that, and then we didn't go to church after that. But um, so pretty much up until like about a year ago, I didn't really think about religion or like take it seriously. But I mean, I think that it is a positive on like a personal level or an individual level, because I think it like if you're like a Christian, for example, I feel like there's not really bad advice, right? If you're like just reading the Bible or whatever. Like I it's not on me, but I actually went to the bookstore a couple weeks ago and I picked up the Bible and the Art of War by Sun Tzu, and just for knowledge and more brain cells. So that's a yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm like too invested. Like I don't go to church or whatever, but it's maybe one day. I tried going when I was living with my dad a year ago, not a couple months ago. Um, but yeah, I mean that was pretty cool. It wasn't like an actual church though. It was like a just this family that had kind of like an open house thing on Sunday mornings, and their family would drop by and they invited us to come along, and that was pretty cool. They would just kind of read Bible verses and play music. So I think that's me personally. That's what I want out of a religion or like going to church. Right? It's just a sense of community and positivity. And yeah, I mean that's kind of what I think about it. I I've probably for a few months now I've started praying every night after I do my push-ups and reading. So yeah, I mean for me personally on an individual level, it does help me. It's yeah, it's fun. So
So let me ask you a question.
yeah.
As someone who was raised very religious and never like really had to think about it, never like had to like consider for myself whether or not there. I mean, I still have had to think about it in my life, but as someone who has just not, I don't want to. It sounds bad. Having grown up in it, having it just put in my face all the time. What do you feel like? Because that is a pretty big change. I feel like from not having any desire to be religious to like starting to maybe become religious. What's the pull there for you?
Um. Well, I just like I said, I think it's just a positive impact. Yeah, I mean, so but my dad and I have kind of had our troubles in recent years, and like I mean, I tend to worry about my sister a lot, so I kind of use like praying and stuff for her, and that's kind of like where I started doing that, right? Just to I don't know, hope for a better future for my family and myself. So um, I guess that's the main pull. And also when my dad introduced me and his wife, my sister, to the church that I was just talking about, or that family, right? I mean, I still think that's pretty cool. I probably wouldn't go back there exactly like that exact place, but maybe church eventually one day. But yeah, I just think it's people need something like that in their life. That's just straight up a positive influence. I know that like there's bad to everything, right? There are bad preachers or whatever, but that's besides the point. It's to me personally, that's what I get out of it, and that's kind of my main pull is just wanting more positivity in my life. Because in the ever since I moved to Arizona, right, it's just been like blow after blow after blow after blow, and is so yeah, that's just kind of that.
No, that makes sense. That's awesome. Like I said, I have grown up with it, so I've never like really had to think about like finding religion, I guess you could say it.
Hmm.
Yeah, like you said, there's bad actors. I've met bad actors in lots of in my own religion and in other religions, and it's out there, and I feel like you have to know, like, you don't want to just be a sheep blindlessly following a preacher or or a prophet or whatever you want to call them. You have to actually think about what they're teaching and where they're leading you, and so yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I'm very comfortable talking about religion, and especially my religion. I've said before, I think religion is um as religion has become more and more extra exercised from our culture has degraded. And now, like we talked about last time, now we have cuck TV or reality shows, and that's what we're like really into. Oh man, who's gonna be the third in this, in this love triangle?
Hmm.
just the most garbage of I feel like when our in the Renaissance days, and when our culture was tied to Christianity or to religion, we had such interesting like culture, like the stories you would get, and architecture. Architecture nowadays is just, it's a stucco house with just like, it's a stucco house compared to like the cathedrals, and these monuments that people built, or even the pyramids, monuments that people built to their gods, whatever god that may be. I feel like as cultures get farther and farther away from worshiping whatever you want to worship, the more and the more cultures just become repetitive, and they're just about living from day to day rather than like creating something beautiful and a lasting culture. And yeah, so yeah, like you said, I think the community aspect of religion is important for people. And I think, there's a lot of lonely people out there that, whether they believe in God or not, I feel like you can always find a church group or a religious group that will welcome you in, whether you believe or not. And if they don't, then that's on them, because that's what they're supposed to do, is spread the word. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Well, is that all?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you all for watching and listening. We appreciate you guys tuning in week over week, listening to our conversations. Yeah. So subscribe, like the video, share it. We'll see you next week.
Bye.